We've been married for 14 years, and the enemy has been attacking our marriage for so long, to be quite honest with you. A lot of disagreements, a lot of arguments, and it's all stemming from witchcraft.
Now, Henry and Monique are going through a separation. These people are Christians. They have a Christian YouTube channel. They speak a lot about prophecies, dreams, prayer, and exposing pastors, and a lot of other things that have to do with the Christian community. But today she's speaking about witchcraft and how that caused her and her husband to separate. So I want to get into that. But before I do me a favor, like this video because this conversation could help someone else, and subscribe to the channel. Now let's go.
And a lot of people don't believe in witchcraft, but it's definitely stemming from witchcraft. A lot of people don't know this, but as a Black American woman married to a Nigerian man, it comes with a lot of warfare. It comes with a lot of warfare, everybody. Because it's a lot of attacks when it comes to jealousy, and they don't like to see progress. And so when they don't want to see my husband progress, they also attack me. So that they have attacked my legs, they have attacked my mind. They tried to attack my mind. They have it to the point that we couldn't do conferences because they attacked my legs. They have attacked my womb, to the point that they don't want us to have children, all of that. I've gotten pregnant by my husband several times. They have taken the child away.
I just want to clarify who they is. Whoever put witchcraft on her and her husband's marriage is who she's speaking about, but she never says their name in this particular video.
When me and my husband first got married, I got pregnant by my husband. When I came back to America, because we got married in Nigeria, and I got when I came back a month later, I knew I was pregnant. So one day when I was in the bed, because I worked overnight, I had an overnight job. My husband was in Nigeria. He hadn't come to America yet. When I was in the bed, and this is what I want to tell y'all some months ago, but I said, no, nobody ain't gonna believe me, but I don't care. Y'all gonna believe me today. I was in the bed, and a demon choked and tried to strangle me like this. I didn't see the demon. I felt it choke me. And then it went to my womb, shook my womb, and took the baby out. That was the first attack I have ever been through.
Okay, I want to stop this video for fair use, but I want you to pay attention to what Monique is saying. Because she mentions witchcraft and the enemy a lot in her video. She mentions how the enemy attacked her womb, her legs, her marriage, and she's never been attacked before. Now, if you've been a believer walking on this earth and trying to, follow the word of God, you have definitely been attacked. But I want to tell you something that, as a reminder in case you don't know, we live in a spiritual world. And there are dreams that we have, and there are attacks that happen to us, but not every attack comes from the enemy. Some things that are happening are because of ourselves. If that makes sense. I hope that makes sense to you. And I'm going to tell you a story really quickly. I lived with my father when I was in school, and my mother and I were butting heads. And I was hard-headed. I was a heathen. I was hard-headed. I didn't want to listen. And my mother didn't understand me. I didn't understand her. I was sleeping in this bedroom in my father's apartment on a mattress. I believe it was one of my sister's mattresses. But I also was dating, had a boyfriend. So my boyfriend would come over there, and I would sneak him in, and he would stay with me. I kept having dreams every single time I slept on that mattress. A demon would come and cover my mouth and my nose. I couldn't even breathe, and I could not scream. Every single time I slept on that mattress, I became so frightened that I started sleeping on the couch in the living room, and that's when the dream stopped. Let's continue to watch.
So long story short, I would get pregnant throughout the years, but the enemy would take our children. I'm having prophetic dreams, and I'm not addicted to prophets. The Lord revealed to me on my own. So the babies are getting taken away. Any Nigerian woman or African woman know that Nigerian men or African men, they need a child. Okay, they need a child, and if they don't have a child, they get made fun of in their culture. So my husband is probably going through this situation, but my husband is giving me love and he's caring for me and stuff like that. And he's always loved me. And even some Nigerian people in his hometown would convince him to marry another woman. And my husband would kick them out the house and block them because of the disrespect that they placed on me. You know what I'm saying? So long story short, the Lord always promised me and my husband that we would have a child, but there was some hindrances. My husband was getting frustrated with it because he also know that I did tell him that I won't be able to have children because I got in a major car accident in 2005, and the doctor told me that I don't need to have no more children or whatever like that. So I did tell my husband before I married him, and he was like, everything is cool. He said, listen, I seen in a prophetic dream that we're gonna have 3 children. So he was okay, right? Now that's how it gets. You know, he's desperate. He's in Nigeria. He's going through. So he's willing to marry me anyways because I am American. You know what I'm saying? So I told him the truth and all of that. So he was being very patient and all.
This is why I made the statement that everything isn't witchcraft. Because in 2005 she was told that she should not have more children, which is probably the reason why she is having trouble carrying babies, right? But I know that if God says something, like she said she got a prophetic dream or something and she heard from God, then God's going to make that happen. I know, because God has the last say. But we have to understand that just because we want something or desire something, that may not be the purpose and the will that God has for us in our life. I'm just going to say this. When I went to God and I said I want another child, and my husband and I became pregnant through IVF, and I had a miscarriage scare, I talked to God and I was upset with God. I was like, now, you know the conversation we had. You promised me this. And I was obedient to your word, and this is what you promised me. And immediately I started to change and said, hold on for a second. If God promised me this, then there's no way that his word would come back void. Why am I angry with God? This is just a scare. And I immediately started to have faith in God like I did when I got pregnant, like I did the whole time before I got pregnant. And I have my almost 7-year-old son right now. So when we talk about what God promises us, we have to understand that God's word does not come back void. I don't care who put witchcraft on you or believe that they put witchcraft on you. God controls everything because he created everything.
He's having issues with the American kids, which is my blood kids. He having issues with them because kids in his culture do things different, and he considered the kids being disrespectful because the culture is different, how kids act there and here. So he just automatically thought the kids was being disrespectful to him because they didn't do certain things like Nigerian kids did, right? So that was a lot of, and he thought I was taking up for the kids. No, I'm explaining to him, hey, certain things Nigerian kids do, American kids, they just do different. Just give them some grace or whatever, right? And at the same time, I would get on to our kids. But I was always in the middle of this situation, all right? And in Nigeria, he do have a daughter. Now, we don't know if that's his real daughter. You know what I'm saying? Because we haven't did a blood test or whatever. So I was also having issues with her because she was disrespecting me. And my husband, the way it was going was like he was giving her so much attention and was dismissing me. They would talk about me in their chat. And I was just like, they having conversations about me. And I was just like, I don't even know who this girl is. Like, I don't even know if this is our real daughter or not, So it was a lot of things I was getting uncomfortable with. And the Lord began to reveal to me about her side of the family. I had a prophetic dream about her side of the family, what they were trying to do against me and my husband. You know what I'm saying? And so I would reveal this to him. I will reveal this to him or whatever. But he wouldn't. He started making me feel like I was delusional, everybody. I don't know if my daughter's trying to call. She's trying to call me. I guess she's trying to stop me. But anyway, he would start trying to make me feel delusional when I'm seeing that side of the family is doing witchcraft against us and my kids. I started revealing this to me. He started getting upset. I seen a lot of family members doing witchcraft and trying to steal money from us. And he would have a hard time believing it.
I had a hard time doing this video, but after praying and speaking with the Lord, I chose to do it because I saw a lot of women in the comment section speaking about witchcraft. And they were saying that they've been through the same thing. And to me, in this particular clip, this just seems like normal family stuff. And I'm speaking from a woman who is in a blended family. My husband has come from another country. There has not always been an eye-to-eye on communication because English is his second language. We both came into the marriage with our own set of children. And I can only imagine how her husband feels because he doesn't have any children or, you know, that he brought into the marriage. I'm going to say that because they don't know about the girl in Africa. Although I'm surprised because that's been 14 years of being in a marriage and still no paternity test. So I question that, and not on her part, but on the husband's part. But this is just normal. This is what families go through when they decide to blend together. And even though we have an ideal of how we want our families to be, or even his family may have had an ideal of how they wanted him to be, you know, his parents, our plan is not God's plan, and we have to understand that.
I would have prophetic dreams not to go to Nigeria because of danger. But he would not listen to me. He would not listen to me. And even the prophet friend of mine, the Lord told him to go to the hometown and do prayers because they're trying to unalive him. Now I'm so glad that prophetess Grant, I don't know this lady, but she even prophesied that it was a demonic attack against my husband. She prophesied that. And she said it's not necessarily Monic. But she see an attack and they're trying to make him do something. And they're also trying to unalive my husband. They really are. My husband, he went to Nigeria in 2025 into 2026 January. My husband came back home totally different. He didn't want to talk to me. He didn't want to touch me. I told him that my legs feel better. Let's do conferences. He said, my mind irate. I don't want to do it. Then he began to tell me that he want to marry another woman while still married to me. And that he want to have sex with another woman while still married to me to make babies. I'm a Black American. I don't do that type of disrespect. Okay.
It sounds like Henry wants to live in sin. And I say sounds like because there are three sides to a story. I've said this before on another post. Hers, his, and the truth. And somebody is going to not tell the whole truth, whether it's intentionally or unintentionally. It seems to always get left out. Okay. If this man wants to have another woman come into their bedroom or into their home, he has decided that he wants a child just that bad, and he does not care if he has to sin to do it. Sounds like, okay? I'm not saying that this is how he feels. Kudos to her for standing her ground as a wife and not sharing her husband, because there are a lot of wives who would have done that. Who does this remind you of? The story of who? Sarah and Abraham, where she asked Hagar to lay with her husband to create a baby. But God had already told them that they were going to have a child. And they did, because God's word does not come back void.
Told him, I forgive you. And he said, I didn't ask you to forgive me. I didn't ask you to forgive me. He said, you should have been begging me to sleep with another woman to have a child. I said, say what? This is not my husband. This man that y'all see on social media right now, I cannot recognize him. They have demonically attacked my husband. They have transferred his mind to a demon. I don't even know who he is. I need your prayers. I'm desperate.
I've been desperate before. And when I'm desperate, and I know that anybody who is desperate, we make really bad decisions when we're desperate. One of the things I do speak against is people bringing their marital issues to the internet, because it opens up doors and you're inviting so many different people in and so many different spirits and so many different opinions. And I don't think that that's okay. But I know that she's scared. She's scared. She's had a 14-year marriage with a man who she feels like has left her to go be with somebody else. Now, I can't say that's 100% because, again, we haven't heard Henry's side of the story. But what I will say is I believe that prayer changes things. And if God puts something together, no man or woman will be able to tear that apart.
And also, he left because I told him to leave. I said, I'm not putting up with that type of conversation. Leave. I told him to leave 3 times. Leave. Okay? I said, when you come back and be the husband that you used to be, you can come back up in here. He packed up his stuff. He left. This dude got a whole new apartment. Left me. I don't even have a job, y'all. I do not have a job. He left me with all the bills. We have a mortgage, car payments. He left. And I know he got another apartment because I seen that he bought a couch at this new apartment, everybody. I told my husband that I know that this is a witchcraft attack. My husband looks at me like I'm crazy. He thinks I'm going crazy. He called my parents, telling me all she's saying is witchcraft, witchcraft, witchcraft. This is a demonic attack, everybody. I'm asking for your prayers. My husband, my real husband, my husband really truly loves the Lord, and he truly loves me, but they have turned this man into somebody that I cannot recognize.
What stuck out to me the most out of this whole thing was the word witchcraft, the enemy, and at the end where she stated that her husband felt like she was losing her mind because she spoke about witchcraft too much. So much so that he even went to her parents about it. Now, Monique, what I will say is if you go back and listen to that 30-minute video that will be linked in the description here, you did talk about witchcraft a lot. You spoke about that more than what God can do for you in your marriage. Because God can change some things. I said it before, I don't care who trying to come up against you. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. You got to get on your face, your hands, and your knees and pray for your husband. Y'all are one. And not only is he covering you, but you are also covering him. And cover him in prayer in this moment and not allow all of these individuals, including myself, to come into your marriage. Because now she's created a second video because people are feeling like he just used her for a green card. And I get it. I had a girlfriend go through something very similar. And that was the outcome. He wanted to be a U.S. citizen. And he stayed with her for years, even after becoming a U.S. citizen. She had to leave. Don't ask me why he stayed. But he didn't stay because he loved her. And I'm not saying that this is Monique and Henry's situation. I'm simply saying I understand how people can view it that way due to this video. Now, I didn't put those clips in there about her speaking about the green card and all of those things. You have to go watch that for yourself. But keep in mind that the only thing right now that we can do for this couple is pray for them and focus on scripture. Never put anybody before God. Because God controls everything. And God can make anything move out of your way or put something in your way. This needs to be a lesson for everybody. And that's why I wanted to have this conversation. Go to God and not the internet when it comes to any problem that you're dealing with. Because nobody can solve it and nobody can help you but the Lord. Now let me know what you think about this video in the comments below. Because that's what I'm here for.